The structures are all made of the local red sandstone and elaborately carved. The walls of the temple have 35 niches with images of Shiva.
The figures that are represented respect the, I would say, movements and proportions of human beings. But we have to understand that when it came to depicting gods, the purpose of art was not to portray the god just as an ordinary human being, but to take, I would say, elements of the human anatomy and charge them with a sublime and divine quality. And this sometimes gave them a very formal quality.
18 pierced windows serve to light the vast interior hall. The hall has 4 rows of pillars which divide the space into aisles. The interior of the Virupaksha temple presents a world of sumptuous carvings. Scenes from the epics are carved on the pillars. There are many figures in dynamic compositions. The work is miniaturized but extremely detailed. With light filtering in from windows and the distant doorway, the effect is dramatic.
These artists who worked, especially in Badami and Polititical, seem to have been attracted to an area of art which is somewhere between figural and somewhere between fantasy and floral. And so you have figures that dissolve into fantasy or into floral forms. You get this marvelous sort of fantastic world in which we have part circles, and inside the part circles you have figures, but they're dissolving into sort of floral forms. And no two are the same. So this inventiveness, this sort of infinite range of possibilities is something which we find in the sculptors. And it's something, I think, which is perhaps unsurpassed in the history of Indian carving.
The sanctum enshrines the Shivalinga, made of black stone. In the Indic tradition, deities are adored. They are offered fresh flowers, cool water, lamps, and incense. Mithunas or loving couples are auspiciously placed in the temple and the porches. They remind us always of the fruitfulness and of the harmony of nature. A shrine next to the sanctum has an image of Durga as Mahishasura, slaying the buffalo demon. There is a great naturalism in the nimble Durga, who stabs the Mahisha, whose only buffalo feature is his horns. Even in the midst of the drama of the moment, there is a marvelous sense of detachment, as she looks away and not at the demon. The Mahisha is on his knees, in a pose which conveys as much reverence as defeat.
The fact that sculptors can portray and communicate to the onlooker, to the devotee, that the gods inhabit a world beyond activity and aggression. It's something which we can meditate on. How they do it, of course, is one of the miracles of art, but something to do with the way in which the face is treated, the eyelids are lowered, it's the softness of the modeling of the features of the face, as well as the swelling, the sort of fullness of the body, and this sort of compression of form that we have in Indian art, I think is always something very noticeable in this period. It makes it one of the great highlights of the history of Indian sculpture.
The sculptural figures are dynamically posed. This vitality and movement is seen in the 8th century in temple art across many parts of India, including Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan, and Orissa. Dwarapalas seen here have a remarkable similarity with those of early Chola temples, 150 years later.
One of the attractive, and I would say characteristic aspects of early Chalukya sculpture in the 7th and 8th centuries is the fact that figures are represented in various activities, because they are depicting gods in their various incarnations. And sometimes these activities are quite violent or, quite aggressive, but always the faces are detached.
The Mallikarjuna temple was made by Triloka Mahadevi, also a queen and the sister of Loka Mahadevi, who built the Virupaksha temple. It is also made in the Dravid style of South India. It is similar to the Virupaksha, though smaller and not very well preserved. Of the 4 temples with Nagara Shikharas, the largest by far is the Papanatha. It was probably made after the Virupaksha in the early 8th century. The richly decorated interiors continue traditions of the Deccan. Further south, in Tamil Nadu, temple interiors remained starkly unadorned till a much later date. Ceiling panels are the distinctive and among the most beautiful features of the early